Welcome back to Table It. I'm your host, Ebony, and tonight we're going to talk about something I never fully unpacked. Not because I didn't want to, but because some pain is hard to put into words. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Table It. Today's episode, I'm going to be brutally honest with myself and with you guys. So, let me ask y'all a question. Have you ever loved somebody but still felt unsafe? I know I have. Several relationships. Like you want to trust them, but something in you won't let you relax. Hmm. Overthinking texts, which I defined each one to break it down for you guys to get a thorough understanding of each one of these subjects. So with the overthinking text, I came up with has less to do with the message itself and more to do with the fears and experience we carry. When someone don't respond right away, our minds can quickly create stories that aren't based on facts, but on anxiety, past hurt, or fear of rejection. We begin analyzing every word, every emoji, and delay searching for meanings that may not exist. Instead of accepting uncertainty, we often fill in the blanks with worst case scenarios, causing unnecessary emotional distress. Learning to pause, separate facts from assumptions, and communicate openly can help break the cycle of these overthinkers. I'm sorry. And then the next one I came up with was expecting abundance. So if you're not sure what that means or what we do when we're expecting abundance, I got a definition for that too. See, expecting abundance can cause someone to interpret even small moments like a delayed text or changing someone's tone as sign that they are about to be left. These fears are often rooted in past experience of rejection, betrayal, or inconsistent relationships rather than the present situation. As a result, the mind stays on high alert, constantly searching for evidence that history is repeating itself. This can lead to anxiety, overthinking, and behavior meant to prevent abandonment, even when there is no real threat. Healing begins by recognizing that past wounds do not always predict present relationships and that trust can be built through healthy, consistent connections. And the last one I came across was feeling anxious even in peace. I know that one sounds so crazy because how can you be peace or a peaceful state of mind, but also anxious? To me, you really can't connect the two, but I also came up with something for that. Feeling anxious, even in peaceful moments, is common for people whose nervous system have spent a long time in survival mode. When your body becomes used to chaos, calm can feel unfamiliar or even unsafe. Something to go wrong instead of relaxing. Your mind stays alert, scanning for potential threats, even when none exists. This constant state of hyperventilation can make it difficult to fully enjoy healthy relationships, quiet moments, or personal success. Healing involves teaching your mind and body that peace is not a warning sign. It is something you are safe to experience and deserve to embrace. Now, I came up with those because I can't talk for nobody else, but these are the three feelings that really stuck out to me, or the things that I do that stuck out to me. Because I'm always overthinking texts, I'm always expecting abandonment, and I'm always feeling anxious, even when it's peaceful. So if that sound like you, oh, then you really need to tune in on this one. Okay, so I told y'all that I was going to be brutally honest. See, I'm going to share this with y'all. It's oftentimes that my husband is being kind and nice to me, and things was calm between us. But that overthinking and that feeling of abandonment, and also that feeling of anxiousness during peaceful moments had me feeling like something bad was about to happen, or to expect him to do something bad, or he already did something that he shouldn't have done. That I even started contemplating walking away from this marriage and divorcing him. Or what's that saying? I can do bad all by myself, even popped up in my head. And I've been through too much to be dealing with anything. And in fact, nothing was happening. Like I said, nothing was ever wrong between us. It was just those feelings kicking in. And in fact, he was really just showing his appreciation towards me. But my mind kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, why you buying me flowers? Just because. Mm-hmm. And taking me to lunch on my lunch breaks. Peace just felt unfamiliar. And I couldn't relax. And before, and if this sound like you, or these are some things that you do, let me tell you this. Before you get the beating down on yourself and coming down so hard and thinking it's something wrong with you, this isn't toxicity. This is protection that went too far for a long time. I believe there was something wrong with me for the longest. I thought I was too emotional, too sensitive, too needy, or too difficult to love. In fact, I heard these things in past relationships, and I'm not talking about just with partners, even past friendships, and even from my own family members. Because when I heard this, I began to blame myself for overthinking and questioning people's intention and struggling to trust. But the more I began to understand trauma, I realized something life changing. This wasn't who I was, it was just how I had to learn to survive. The walls I built actually wasn't created to push people away. They were built because somewhere along the way, I learned that people could leave, betray, reject, or hurt me without warning. Every disappointment, every broken promise, every moment I felt abandoned taught my nervous system one lesson: don't get too comfortable. don't trust too much, and to always stay ready for whatever. What looked like toxicity on the outside was often just protection on the inside. My overthinking wasn't about controlling people. It was my mind trying to predict pain before it happened. My need for reassurance wasn't because I wanted constant attention. It was because I was searching for safety. Pulling away before someone could hurt me wasn't manipulation. It was an attempt to avoid another heartbreak. The problem is that the same survival skills that protected me during my hardest season began showing up in places where they no longer belonged. They followed me into healthy relationships, genuine friendships, and at times, peaceful moments. I was treating safe people like they were dangerous because my past had convinced me that danger could look like love. Protection is healthy when it keeps you safe from real harm, but protection becomes harmful when it prevents you from experiencing love, peace, trust, and connection. At some point, my armor stopped protecting me and started isolating me. The walls that once kept pain out also kept healing out. And healing has taught me that I don't have to destroy the parts of me that fought so hard to survive. I can thank my survival instincts for carrying me through difficult seasons while also reminding myself that I don't have to live in survival forever. This isn't about becoming naive or ignoring red flags. It's about learning the difference between intuition and fear because discernment and trauma between protecting yourself or myself and imprisoning myself. My past may explain why I react the way I do, but it doesn't have to define how I move forward. This isn't toxicity. This is protection that just went too far. And now it's time to teach my heart that surviving isn't the same as living. And in fact, I can actually learn to feel safe again. One of the most hopeful truths about healing is that just as your mind learned to survive, it can also learn to feel safe again. Healing doesn't have to erase what happened to you or pretend your pain didn't exist, but it teaches you, your heart, and nervous system that your past no longer have to dictate your present. For so long, I believe my anxiety, overthinking, and fear of abandonment were simply part of who I was, when in reality, they were survival responses developed to protect me. If those responses could be learned, then safety can be learned too. Learning to feel safe again means choosing to pause before assuming the worst, reminding myself that a delayed text isn't always rejection, that silence isn't always abandonment, and that healthy relationships don't require you to constantly prove your worth. It also means giving yourself grace when old fears resurface. Understanding that healing isn't about never being triggered again. It's about recovering more quickly and responding differently. As you continue to heal, you'll begin to notice that the situation that once caused you to spiral no longer have the same power over you. You'll start replacing fear with trust, panic with peace, and assumptions with honest communication. Most importantly, you'll realize you don't have to live the rest of your life in survival mode. I know I deserve to experience peace without waiting for it to disappear, or love without constantly questioning it, and relationships where I can feel secure instead of afraid. Healing isn't about becoming someone new, it's about finally becoming the person you were before trauma convinced you that the world was never safe. And in fact, I have to stand in my mirror and constantly tell myself this: I deserve love that feels safe and not confusing. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this: you also deserve a love that brings peace, not constant anxiety. You deserve relationships where you're not left guessing or over analyzing or questioning your worth every single day. Love should never leave you feeling like you have to decode every text message, earn someone affection, or live in fear that they'll disappear the moment you make a mistake. Healthy love isn't perfect, but it's constant. It communicates, reassures, take accountability, and create a space where you can be yourself without constantly preparing for rejection. If you spent years in survival mode, feeling safe may seem impossible, but it isn't. Healing is possible. The scars from your past may explain why you struggle, but they don't have to determine how your story ends. Every step you take towards healing is a step away from fear and a step towards the life and relationships you are always worthy of having. So today, do me a favor and give yourself permission to stop carrying the weight of always expecting the worst. Give yourself permission to believe that not everyone will betray you, and not every moment of silence means being abandoned. You are worthy of a love that feels secure, a peace that doesn't have to be earned, and a future that isn't controlled by your past. And remember, whatever you're carrying, whether it's fear, anxiety, overthinking, or old wounds, you don't have to carry it alone. Bring it to God first. Then you can bring it to someone you trust. And as always, bring it to the table.